Good day. My name is Willisa Ruffin, and today I'd like to talk to you about the world of Hyper-V. Hyper-V is Microsoft's hardware virtualization product that lets you create and run a software version of a computer called a virtual machine. Each virtual machine acts like its own complete computer, running an operating system and programs in its own isolated space, which means you can run more than one virtual machine on the same hardware at the same time. Virtualization is the process of creating a software-based or virtual representation of something, such as virtual applications, servers, storage, and networks. Let's dig a little deeper. Historically, IT departments used multiple physical servers, each with one primary function. For example, a mail server dedicated solely to handling outgoing and incoming emails. Buying a physical server meant you also had to choose the appropriate CPU and RAM to go along with it. This was costly for organizations, especially for growing companies that continually purchased new servers, and all of those servers created a huge footprint as they required tons of energy to run and maintain. And that's just how companies rolled. That is, up until 18 to 20 years ago when the first virtualization technologies were introduced. Virtualization technology allowed a single physical server to be sliced and diced into individual virtual machines, or VMs as they are called, which meant that only one server was available for multiple functions. Today, virtualization is everywhere, and it's a fairly standard mode of operation. In fact, more than 75% of organizations currently utilize server virtualization, which brings us back to this lovely technology that enables virtualization, the hypervisor, aka Hyper-V. There are three common ways you can create a Hyper-V machine: Hyper-V Manager, PowerShell, and Hyper-V Quick Create. I will be discussing how we can create the virtual machine in Hyper-V Manager. First, type Hyper-V Manager in the search box situated on the taskbar and press Enter. Hyper-V Manager will open. On the right, select the Actions section, find or either right-click on New, and then click Virtual Machine. The new Virtual Machine wizard then opens the Before You Begin window. This is where you're going to configure the machine. Read through the instructions in the window and then check the box Do Not Show This Page Again if you want to skip this information in the future. Next, we will specify the VM name and location. Ensure that the VM name is unique and allows you to easily identify the required VM and type it into the Name dialog box. In the Location dialog box, you can either leave the default location that is listed, or you can create a folder and assign a new location for your choice. For this exercise, check the Store and Virtual Machine in a different location box and click Browse. Next, specify the generation. The choice between Generation 1 and 2 is dictated by the operation system that you want to install. Generation 1 VM supports 32 and 64-bit guest operating systems and BIOS-based architecture. They also provide functionality for earlier versions of Hyper-V. Gen 2 VMs support 64-bit Windows operating systems and the latest versions of Linux and FreeBSD operating systems. It also provides advanced virtualization features such as Secure Boot. Choose wisely though, because you can't change the VM generation configuration after you have finalized its creation for this system. Next, you must specify the amount of memory which will be assigned to the VM. The future performance of your VM is largely going to depend on the amount of allocated memory. Moreover, you can choose to use dynamic memory for this VM by checking its designated box. This feature allows you to take a part of the memory available on a physical host and assign resources to the VM which needs it the most. The next step allows you to choose a virtual network that will be used for connecting the VM to the network. For this purpose, click on the Dropbox arrow and select Virtual Switch Demo. And if you don't have a virtual switch, only the Not Connected option will be provided, and your VM will be left without network access. Next, we will configure the virtual hard disk requirements. In this section, you can create a new virtual hard disk, which requires specifying its name, location, and size, or you can use an existing virtual hard disk of the VHD or VHDX format. Another option is to skip this step altogether and attach a virtual hard disk later, which is what we are going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now arrived at the completing the new virtual machine wizard window, which provides a short description of this VM. Review the information for accuracy, and if all is good to go, click Finish to create the VM and close the wizard. And that's it. You are now the new owner of a new Hyper-V machine. Yay! So to conclude, I defined Hyper-V and virtualization. I also discussed a little bit of history concerning virtualization and the impact of it on technology. Then I provided a step-by-step guide to build a basic Hyper-V machine. This concludes my presentation. I hope you leave feeling better informed, and I thank you for your time.